Hi everyone! Today I'm going to do a sort of personal vlog about weddings. So I got married on May 31st of this year with a lot of excitement and maybe a little bit of fanfare. We had a blast. It was the best day of my life, and I looked pretty good too. We also had a couple of friends who got engaged very shortly after us and decided to get married in August, this last weekend, in fact. Now, this vlog isn't to critique their wedding, which was wonderful, or to talk about what we would have done differently or anything like that. After all, everyone has a different idea of what the perfect wedding is, and everyone's wedding is supposed to reflect the couple, not what everyone just expects to see, so it would be absolutely wrong for our friends to have a wedding just like ours. This vlog is actually about what it's like to go to a wedding just about 2 months after you just had one. It's different, I promise. If you've experienced this, going to a wedding very shortly after your own, you'll understand what I mean. Weddings are stressful. After all, if you're going to spend all that money, or if you're lucky and someone else is paying for it, and you're facilitating spending all of that money, it should be stressful. I was lucky because I'm pretty organized, so I broke the whole task down into little bites and then tried to finish each little bite on a timeline. But I still lost my mind. I think it's impossible to plan a wedding without losing your mind. Unless you hire a wedding planner, but I think wedding planners just take all the fun and experience out of having the thing. Planning the wedding is like your first big test as a couple. To have someone else take the test for you, well, that's just cheating. So, going to a wedding 2 months or so after I just went through all that stress, I sympathize. It's a different feeling. I used to be really judgy about weddings, pointing out things that I didn't like or things I would have done differently, that sort of thing, but things are different now. I won't say there weren't moments where I found myself thinking that I liked what we had done better, but that's natural, and of course I would have liked what we did better. I planned the wedding. I only picked the things that I like. But as I looked around their crowded reception hall at all of those guests, I also found myself thinking, man, it must have been a pain to set all this up. Or, oh, I like what they did there. They had a photo booth, for example, which I had considered getting, but ended up vetoing because we didn't have enough space in the art gallery that our reception was in. I was seriously jealous. I loved the photo booth idea. There are two big feelings that you get during the hustle and bustle of your wedding that I sympathize with. I sympathize with the huge feeling of relief that you get midway through the reception after all the pomp and circumstance is over and it's just you, your new husband or wife, who you'll probably get to see 3 times the entire night. I think I saw mine like twice. So it's you, your new spouse, the drink in your hand, all your favorite people, and Uncle Joe, Bob, or Tim, you know, the weird one that everyone says must be adopted. It's an amazing feeling of release and calm that you get, and you look out over the crowd and think that it was all worth it. For months beforehand, you would have told people that you wish that you would have eloped. But when you're sitting down, resting your feet and sipping on your drink, you realize that this is exactly what you did want, and you would have been so disappointed had you not endured all of that stress and anxiety to get here. And I think I may have seen our friends have that moment too. It's a beautiful moment, and I will always cherish it. That feeling of calm and happiness and love that comes over you during your reception. The other, less happy feeling that I sympathize with is the immense feeling of despair and letdown that you get after it's all over. Now, our friends haven't had this feeling yet. They just started their honeymoon, and maybe they're stronger people than me and won't get it at all. But after all of that was over and I was sitting in our apartment surrounded by unclaimed wedding favors, unwrapped presents, and a worn wedding dress, I was overwhelmed by the feeling of letdown. The horrible realization that for the past 6 months I had been living for the wedding day. It was all I talked about, it was all I thought about, it was all I dreamed about, and now it was over. That feeling is something I wouldn't wish on anyone for any reason. But it gets better with time. It does get better. And going to another wedding helped it to get better faster. To step out of my own little world that I'd been living in for so long and celebrate someone else's lives together, I watched our friends dance and cut their cake, and I found myself not tearing up as I remembered when we had done those same things only 2 months ago. I smiled at the memories instead. The despair was gone, and now I can look back at our wedding not with a feeling of longing, but with a feeling of fondness instead. Going to a wedding as a married woman is very different from going to a wedding as a single one. I didn't get to try to catch the bouquet, and I watched the other girls do it with a smile on my face. I thought about my husband who was standing next to me and watched those girls struggle to catch the flowers and thought about how lucky I was that I had already found my love. I enjoyed it. I really did. And I think maybe I'll enjoy weddings a little bit more now that I know what it's like to wear the big white dress. And although I'll always wish that I could do it again, I wouldn't want to. Our day was perfect in every way, and I couldn't ask for a better man to have been by my side for all of that. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching as usual. Remember to subscribe for more videos. Check out my blog at the link below. I also do text posts. Last week I did a text post about depression in honor of Robin Williams, where I sort of recounted my struggle with depression over the years and talked about how I found the thing that I needed to be okay. I also have a Facebook and a Twitter that you can follow. Thanks again, and you guys have a great week. Lainey out.